Scientists estimate that our daily exposure to EMF radiation is 100 million times higher than it was in our grandparents' time. And with this has come a price no one expected to pay. The question you should ask yourself is your home killing you? Over 1 million articles of medical research can be found linking 9 of the top 10 diseases killing Americans to overexposure to EMF. According to Dr. Joseph Mercola, new scientific evidence is continually emerging that nearly all the 20th century human plagues can be tied to some aspect of our use of electricity, including acute lymphoblastic leukemia in children, brain tumors, malignant melanoma, asthma, cardiovascular disease, immune system dysfunction, hormone disturbance, brittle diabetes, sleep disorders, headaches, Alzheimer's disease, and ADHD. And this is just a partial list. Dr. Magda Havis, PhD from Environmental and Resource Studies of Trent University, also says that over 35% of the U.S. population may be affected by overexposure to EMFs. The most vulnerable to microwave radiation and EMFs are women, children, and at-risk adults with existing conditions. Troubling studies are reporting that children living in homes with elevated electromagnetic fields are at risk of developing leukemia. The rise of autism cases is as much alarming. In 1950, the incidence of autism in children in the United States was 4 in every 10,000 children. In 1975, this number was 5 in every 10,000. By 2009, it had shot up to 120 cases of autism per 10,000 children, with numbers rising every year. There has been a dramatic increase of unexplained diseases and disorders since the 1980s in the U.S. The culprit is EMF, or electromagnetic fields. EMF can be measured in levels of radiation and are emitted by all electrical devices and devices that emit radio waves, even when they are turned off. Remember, you are an electrical being. At the cellular level, your cell membrane receptors recognize electromagnetic fields at very low levels of exposure. In 2011, an agency of the World Health Organization classified radio wave electromagnetic fields as possibly carcinogenic. The Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, is reporting that 6 out of 10 homes are sick due to air and radiation pollution that includes greenhouse gas and EMF emitted from an aging electrical system, the increased number of wireless devices and appliances. This creates an e-smog in and around our homes. Let us listen to the personal story of Dr. Rhoda Alale, who has served on advisory panels for the last 5 presidents of the United States.
I went to Ohio, brought this house. I'm getting it ready for my sons to come home. And from the day I brought that house and the first night I stayed in that house, I started getting sick. So he says, Mom, I'm coming home for my 3-week holiday. I said, okay, I got your room already with this safari African theme in there, so I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And he came in the house, and happy-go-lucky kid, 7 foot, almost 300 pounds, this superstar on this martial arts team. Within 3 weeks, he became one of the most belligerent, intolerable, disrespectful, disregarding human beings. This is a kid that was slap-happy, easy-go-lucky, who got numerous citizen awards, who was selected out of almost 100 kids that competed to go to Olympic Village. His teachers recommended him to people at our church. He was even named the top entrepreneur in the youth business club he was in. His personality personified, and he turned into a demon from hell. And I'm being kind in saying that. And so when I'm hearing these scientists and these engineers and these medical doctors talking about these facts and the science of EMF radiation impact on health, it was alarming and startling. And so I started on my journey. I was getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and the doctor said, Doc, you've got to get over this grief because all your organs are distressed. And I'm like, listen, I'm taking pills, I'm going to Reiki therapy, I'm counseling, I'm having massages. I mean, I'm not even working just so I can deal on grief. And I said, you know, there's got to be something beyond grief. And so my son's behavior was such, I said, well, maybe he has displaced grief. You know, his father's died, and we just need to go to counseling. So we all went to counseling, and the counselor said, Doc, we have something here. Let me do some more tests with him. He did a battery of tests and came back and said, no, we have to send him to the specialist. So we sent him to the neurologist. They did a brain scan, and the doctor came out and said, Doc, I don't know how to tell you this. Your son has lost 60% of the energy that supports his brain theta wave, his center of emotional management. And he needs more comprehensive care. So we need to do some more tests with him. What I thought was going to be a 3-day hospitalization period ended up being almost 8 months. I was horrified because my son is losing energy in his brain wave and nobody can figure it out. And so I was fascinated with the brain scan that they were using. This PSE system stands for psychosomatic energetics, where they could actually measure brain waves off of a device that they put on the left wrist. I said, you know, I want to do that because I'm getting sicker. I need to have a part-time job that pays me a full-time salary. So I came to Toronto to train, even though this institute, the Institute of Dr. Eureka Banis, is out of Switzerland. She has an affiliate here in Toronto, and I said, okay, I'll go up there to train. And I was dumbfounded when, on the second day, there were doctors there from all over the world, Czechoslovakia, Germany, Russia, everywhere. And the second day, a doctor walked up to me at lunchtime and she said, Anna, here, let me scan your body. I want to see if how much radiation you're absorbing in your body. I did not know that the body absorbs radiation from electromagnetic devices, electronics, etc. She tested my body and she said, Doc, you are 100% irradiating from your feet to the crown of your head. She said, you must get the radiation checked in your house. And she was so alarming and so affirming that when I went home, I called one of my colleagues who was a medical doctor, an emergency room doctor, and I said, listen, I got to find me an engineer that deals with health physics in the house, and I got to find them now. They came to my house, said, sit down, Doc. They took meters and went to every single electrical socket. They mapped out the radiation inductance and interference from the basement to the 3rd floor. And then they said to me, we don't know how you are alive. This house is converging with over 7,000 times the amount of radiation that you should be exposed to. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You were telling me that something in the walls that's invisible is taking me out and causing all this distress in my body and my son's brain injury? They said, that's exactly what we're telling you. And they picked up the phone and called Texas. They said, you need capacitors, electromagnetic radiation filters in your home. And I was spellbound when they showed me the readings. My levels were over 1,500. They said, here's your brain injury for your son. Here's the reason why you've had this stroke. Here's the reason why you have sustained depression. Here's the reason why I had developed breast cancer. And I said, you are telling me the invisible forces of radiation in my house were killing us and taking our lives. They said, that's exactly what we're telling you.
We thought that the bigger the home, the smarter the home, the safer it would be. With all these new electronics and appliances we need for comfort. Microwaves, hair dryers, flat-screen TVs, energy-saving light bulbs, cell phones, Wi-Fi, computers, toasters, refrigerators. As we see, each appliance on its own may not create a field strong enough to impact you, but bound them together, and you are creating an E-storm in your house equal to a giant taser gun. Everything electrical dissociates or reduces oxygen uptake in the body and becomes an invisible assault entity. We could keep going, but I think you get the idea. The fact is, your house may be killing you. So, What can you do to reduce your exposure and increase your chances of a healthier and longer life? One option would be to eliminate the source of the problem. Right, like that's really going to happen. Most of us are not willing to make that drastic a change in our lifestyle. But there is something you can do. First, you have to become an educated consumer and learn about the EMFs. Second, you have to know what the EMF levels are in your home. A Nevis World distributor can help you measure the levels of EMF radiation in your home and office. It takes only a couple of minutes to do this. Let us listen to Dr. Rhoda Alale.
And so let's just plug this meter in this wall and see what we get. You simply put it in the plug. You should count to 10 seconds. 1, 2, 8, 9, 10. Now you want to look at the lowest level that you see. You can see that the lowest level we're seeing now is 182, and the highest level we've seen so far has been about 192. So this tells me that the electromagnetic transients in this wall are high. They're higher than the recommended levels. So we need intervention. The intervention we talked about was a power guard. So we can take a power guard, simply plug it in. Up underneath your meter, you want to leave your meter in because you need to see how fast the power guard works. So we just turn it on. You'll see for a blue light, and you just look at your meter. How fast is that? 25 to 28. We have achieved reducing the electromagnetics in our bedroom to a safe level within less than 10 seconds.
Don't wait until electromagnetic fields strike you down or one of your loved ones. Contact your Nevis World distributor today and get your free home EMF testing.